Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Monday Morning Mindset here on the Under the Brim podcast with me, your host, Shanna Moody. Today, let's suck it up. Yeah, you heard me right. You need to just suck it up, Buttercup. You've probably heard that saying before. You've probably been told that by your parents or by your coaches, but I think it's a lesson that we all need to hear again and again. And instead of just suck it up, like take the hard thing and keep going, what if we rephrased it and we decided to embrace the suck? So you see, when my son was younger, I would always get frustrated with him when he would come in and be like, "Oh, this sucks," or "I don't want to do that. It sucks," or "they suck." And that phrase just really irritated me. And I thought, well, of course it's going to suck because you already said it does. Like, you put that action into motion. You put that mindset out there for other people to hear, and you put that into the universe, and essentially you're manifesting your destiny that if you think it's going to suck, then of course it is. So one day I was driving to work and I had made myself a smoothie. And if you've ever tried to drink a smoothie through a regular straw, you know that it's next to impossible, right? Especially if you've made one that's that really good, thick, creamy consistency. So they've actually invented a bigger straw specifically made for smoothies that is wider around. And I got to work that day and I was sitting in my car, finishing my smoothie, using that straw. And I just decided that we all need to embrace the suck. And whether that's the water that you're supposed to be drinking every day or the bad attitude that you have about something in your life, then let's suck it up. And instead of just sucking it up and just taking the suck and getting through it, what if we actually embraced it and used this as a building block for our lives? And instead of just getting through it or surviving, we could actually thrive. Because you see, when we think something is going to suck, then of course it is. You've already put that energy out into the universe. You've already made up your mind. And so you're essentially manifesting your own destiny with your mindset and your thoughts. So suck it up. Know that everything in life is not going to be easy, but the struggle will always be memorable. And without those obstacles, the glory wouldn't be as great, would it? Anything that we achieve easily isn't very rewarding. It isn't as satisfying. It doesn't mean as much to us. But when we dig in, and we put forth our best effort and we really try with something, how much more rewarding and exciting is that victory? So today I want to come back to you with this phrase, embrace the suck, and see if I can convince you from saying that sucks or suck it up to embrace the suck. So let's talk about how to do it. When I started embodying this phrase, I didn't know that there was actually a book already out there written in the early 2000s by Brent Gleason. He was a Navy SEAL commander, and he promotes that his motto of embrace the suck is the Navy SEAL way to an extraordinary life. And I kind of have to agree with him. When you can embrace the suck, then you can have a more extraordinary life. So what does embrace the suck mean? Why should you do it? And then how can you actually suck it up? So let's talk about it. So it's a military phrase that got put into place during the war that became really common. And what they mean when they say it in the military is to take your current situation, and even though it sucks, you have to accept it and you have to get to work to change it. You have to embrace the discomfort. You have to confront it head on, and you have to dominate it. So you don't have to just get through it, you dominate it. Notice the difference there? So if you're going, I read this quote when I was thinking about this today, and it said, if you're going to eat shit, don't nibble on it, right? So if something's going to suck, the longer that you sit around and dread it or procrastinate or put it off or let fear get ahead of you or let overwhelm get ahead of you, the worse it's going to get and the bigger the pile is going to seem. So don't nibble at it. Jump in with both feet, go full force. And don't let it interfere with other parts of your life. So that's really one of the things that is the most challenging about having something sucky in our lives is that attitude and that energy carries over into other things. So it's either going to affect the other work that you're doing in your life or the relationships and the people. They're going to be able to see that bad attitude on you and it's going to rub off on them. And either they're not going to want to be around you or they're also in turn going to have a bad attitude. So let's embrace the suck. There's a fact that life is going to suck at certain times. There are going to be hard things. Fear and indecision can get the best of us, and they are mind killers. So again, it goes back to the whole premise of this podcast about the mindset and motivation of the people that are listening, of you the listener, your mindset and your motivation. If you let suckiness win, then you're giving in and you're letting it overpower your mind. And I know that you are tougher than that. So when you think life sucks, it does. So let's change your mind. Don't let it be a mind killer. And remember that embracing the suck isn't just settling for it. Again, this is different than sucking it up. We're not just going to suck it up and get through it and accept that somebody's making us do something that we don't want to do, or we don't like this no matter what the situation is. Instead, again, it's a mindset, an intentional choice, a process of realization, and then action. You can't just think your way through it. You've actually got to take action. But that action needs to be intentional. It needs to be a purposeful way that you want to approach something. So let's say today you are supposed to work out. Are you going to say, God, I have to work out later and it sucks? Or are you going to be like, dude, I get to work out later and I am going to crush that shit. And I'm going to come out of the weight room stronger and better than I was when I went in. Yeah, I mean, while you're in there, it's going to suck. Nobody loves burpees, right? But when we do hard things, we get better at doing hard things. And by choosing an intentional path to embrace the suck, this is really the only true path to happiness and satisfaction in life. Again, we are satisfied when we find purpose, when we find ownership, when we find success. So if you want to find those things, be intentional in your approach and embrace the suck. A couple of ways that we can embrace the suck are to get a mentor or a partner or an accountability partner. Find someone who's willing to do it. When you have a workout partner and you both know that you're going in, you're not going to admit weakness to them. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to punk out today, because you know you have somebody depending on you. So get a partner. Who's going to practice with you? Who's going to show up with you? Who's going to hold you accountable? Find that person and then don't let go and hold them to the same standard. And then what about learning new skills? One of the things that I think sucks a lot is doing paperwork. I just don't like to sit at the computer. I'm an action person. I'd rather be up and moving around. So I discovered Google Docs and Google Drive, and that has been a life-changing discovery and skill for me. So once I learned how to use Google Docs, I figured out how much work I could actually be getting done, how much more productive I could be, and that I could actually get a lot of my work done on the phone while I'm on the move, so that I wasn't having to sit at the computer so long, because there's an app for Google Drive. You should check it out. And then what about developing better habits? So for example, if you think money sucks and you think that your finances suck, then maybe you need to get some better habits about spending. Maybe you needed to get into the habit of downloading your bank app and checking your bank balance every day. Maybe you need to set a budget for how much you're going to spend on things and create habits that keep you within those constraints that you've identified for yourself. Maybe you just need to track and see where you actually are every month. But having those habits in place and those skills will help you to get through the suck. Things don't have to be so sucky when you choose better ways to do them. For example, I am a warm weather person. I do not like cold weather. I think cold weather is sucky, but there's so much stuff that I want to do, and I don't want to miss out on all of it for half of the year because I'm not going outside in the cold. And I finally figured out one of the reasons that I hated the cold so much was because I didn't have the proper gear. So once I got the right gloves and the right jacket and the right socks and shoes and everything that I needed, I could actually go out and enjoy the cold a lot more. So get the right habits, get the right skills, and then do the hard things. Do the daily things that it takes to get better. Did you know that by doing hard things, you get better at doing hard things? That's one of the benefits of working out. When you go in the gym and you do something that's really hard, let's say maybe your workout involves 100 burpees today, when you get done with that, you're like, I am a badass, and no matter what comes at me today, if I can do 100 burpees, I can do anything. It's part of the reason that cold plunging has got so popular. There are some physical benefits to it, but a lot of the benefit and the purpose for the cold plunge is just to do something hard to prove to yourself that you can do something hard. So take on new challenges and practice doing something hard in different areas of your life every day, so that when those extraneous hard things come along, it won't seem like such a big deal anymore. And then choose your hard. You can choose the pain of never trying and of not knowing if you could have been successful or not. Or you can choose the pain of going through the suffering but get the reward on the other end of it. Which hard are you going to choose? Embrace the suck. And then lean into the pain. When we face something that we think is hard or that we think is sucks, it's usually a clue. We were talking about this the other night in regards to workouts. The movements that we avoid and the types of workouts that we don't want to do are usually because we think they're hard. And it's usually a clue that it's the part of our fitness that we need to work on. So if you don't like yoga because you think it's hard because you're inflexible, then that's a clue that you probably need to work on your flexibility. If you don't like running on the treadmill because you think that cardio sucks, then you probably need to up your cardio game, right? If you think that getting up early sucks, there's probably some stuff that you need to be doing that in the day that you're avoiding, and that's why you're not getting up. Or you're jacking around wasting your time at night when you should be sleeping and you know that. And so getting up is hard, right? So lean into that pain and notice the clues that it's giving you. Then the final thing I want you to do is ask yourself a couple of questions. Is this really sucky? Or is this a challenge that's presenting me with opportunities for growth and advancement? If I lean into this pain, if I embrace this suck, will I come out better on the other side for it? And then also ask yourself if this sucks because it's something that's really not important to you. Are you fully committed to your goals? So if you say that you want to lose weight or you want to be the champion at the next event you're entering, do you really want that, or is that just lip service? Because if you really want it, then you will do the things that you have to do to get the success and the reward that you're looking for. But if it's not something that you're really not committed to, then of course you're not going to do the things. You're not going to stick to the habits. You're not going to stick to the plan because you don't really care that much about it. So don't commit to something unless you're fully committed, right? So are you actually committed to that goal? Because if you are, you'll be willing to do the things. And then the last question I want you to ask yourself is, what is within your circle of control? There are only 2 things that we can control in life, maybe 3. But the 3 things that I say that you can control are your attitude, your effort, and your breath. So control the things that you can control and stop worrying about the things that you can't control. If you're not the one who designs your workouts, then stop stressing about them and grappling about them and making up your mind that they suck before you even do them. There's a purpose to them. If you think that the assignments that you're having to do for school suck, think about the long process, the end game that you're trying to get to, and control what you can control. Choose to learn, choose to give your best effort, and choose your attitude. There are tons of examples that we could go through for all of these. But again, remember to embrace the suck. Get a mentor, learn a new skill, develop your habits, and do the hard things. And then ask yourself those 3 questions. Is this a challenge or an opportunity for growth? Are you really committed? And what is within your circle of control? All right. So while you're at it, while you're sucking it up and embracing the suck, why don't you also suck up your gallon of water that you're supposed to be drinking each day? Stay hydrated. Did you know that this can control your energy? This can control your attitude, and this can help with so many areas of your life, including your mobility and your hunger. So suck it up, get in that gallon of water today, and give yourself a target goal to meet. Every time you feel like something is hard, ask yourself, am I going to suck it up, or am I going to embrace the suck? And I hope that you will choose to embrace it. All right. Until next time, thank you for joining me on this episode of Monday Morning Mindset. Embrace the suck.